Fast forward 6 months. Big U gets arrested, this is hypothetically, for these acts.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, that interview becomes completely fair game, and it's an important historical record, and like we all have to look at it and say, oh my God, loose cannon, I'm so sorry. We all misjudged you, you're a fucking genius, you were telling the truth the whole time.
FBI says that South LA crime boss Eugene Big U Henley fronted a wide-ranging mafia-like criminal enterprise.
And the Department of Justice also accusing him of murdering an aspiring rapper in 2021. Investigators say Henley is one of 18 members of the Rollin 60s Crips charged in the federal complaint.
He has maintained the image of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture.
Just refusing to pay your bill.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you. I'm just not gonna allow you to videotape me as I pay.
They don't really with us until it's a problem. Then they call it. Like Quando, Rondo.
Yo, I'm so glad you're my friend, because all your options go to jail, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Before I turn myself in, I don't even know what to say.
Wait, that is DNA test in my brother Nails.
Okay, so, ooh, that's bad work.
For 2 decades, one man decided who was safe in Los Angeles and who wasn't. He was the man who helped launch Nipsey Hussle's career, introducing him to Tupac's former label, helping build his earliest mixtapes, standing beside him at community events years later. And according to years of street rumor and podcast speculation, he was also the same man some believe may have wanted him gone.
What you waiting on? You got to tell us what you waiting on. Damn, my mama broke you with a
Justice for them.
Prosecutors have never charged him with any role in Nipsey Hussle's murder. That case was already closed, someone else was convicted. But the theory never disappeared, a friendship, a falling out, and a murder that some people still refuse to call a coincidence. He's accused of driving a young man he personally coached in football, a kid who once lived inside his own home, out into the Nevada desert, and leaving his body less than a mile from the largest landfill in the world.
Also accusing him of murdering an aspiring rapper in 2021. Investigators say Henley is one of 18 members of the Rollin 60s Crips charged in the federal complaint.
According to prosecutors, the evidence that would eventually convict him sat inside a crime lab for more than 2 years while he continued building his public image. His name has also been tied, at least through rumor and reputation, to one of the most chaotic street ambushes in recent hip-hop history.
Like Quando, Rondo. I just showed envy. Like, you can't call me now. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't with me before that. You know what I mean? You had my number, you could have called.
A hit allegedly ordered from 2,000 miles away that missed its intended target and instead killed a young man's cousin. Months earlier, that same target had sat across from him, on his own podcast, shaking his hand. Then, in 2025, everything caught up with him. Years of federal surveillance, wiretaps, undercover operations, a 43-count indictment, hundreds of federal agents, an FBI investigation that compared his organization to the mafia. This is the story of Eugene Henley. The world knows him as Big U.
FBI says that South LA crime boss Eugene Big U Henley fronted a wide-ranging mafia-like criminal enterprise.
And the Department of Justice also accusing him of murdering an aspiring rapper in 2021. Investigators say Henley is one of 18 members of the Rollin 60s Crips charged in the federal complaint.
He has maintained the image of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture.
Justice for them.
Anytime you want to do movies in the hood, just check it in. But if you don't check it in, oh well. Check your out. We gonna check you in, all right. So you just refusing to pay your bill?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you. I'm just not gonna allow you to videotape me as I pay.
Closets. Yeah, I was dark places. Everything behind me. You know, kidnapping people, prison, and all. We had a crew called the Body Snatchers.
And investigators say that he painted himself as an entertainment with various charities, but they say Henley is a violent criminal.
Boy, you is a... I'm telling you! You gotta stop!
Funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, one of a murderer, a thief, a liar.
I ain't it. What you got?
Justice for them. They don't really with us until it's a problem. Then they call it. Like Quando, Rondo.
Yo, I'm so glad you're my friend, because all your options go to jail, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Before I turn myself in, I don't even know what to say.
Wait, that is DNA test in my brother Nails.
Okay, so, ooh, that's bad work.
About Big U's alleged body, maybe?
Huh? No,
only way y'all know that is because you is the police, gang. Well, I'm not talking about no.
Didn't I tell you he's a dummy? Rewind.
To understand how a man now facing 43 federal counts, including murder, could also stand beside Snoop Dogg at a press conference or receive more than $2 million in city contracts, you first have to understand the image he spent 20 years building. According to federal prosecutors, that image wasn't just a reputation, it was the machine. To understand why Big U alleged extortion tactics worked for so long, you first have to understand a concept that existed long before he ever put his name on it.
You have to have an experience before they realize I should have checked in. You know what I mean? Or I should have called, or I should have been moving a certain way.
You can check it in. We can make sure it's done. Movies, videos. But if you don't check it in, oh well. Just gonna check your ass out. We're gonna check you in, all right. We're gonna check in all of your equipment.
In cities with deeply rooted gang territories, artists, athletes, and public figures have faced the same problem for decades. How do you move safely through neighborhoods where nobody knows who you are? Over time, an informal practice developed. People called it checking in.
So you're just refusing to pay your bill?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you. I'm just not gonna allow you to videotape me.
Before filming, before performing, sometimes before even entering a neighborhood, visiting artists or production crews would contact a respected local figure. Sometimes money changed hands. In return, they were promised safety, protection, and cooperation. Ask 10 different people, and you'll hear 10 different explanations. Some call it community security, others call it extortion, with better branding.
Explain extortion to us. Would the rappers really be getting extorted by the gang members?
Because if you coming out here and you eating, and you in the club, and nobody know you, and you bringing your crew, then what happened?
You fool.
You fool.
Big U didn't invent checking in, but very few people became as publicly associated with it, or spoke about it as openly as he did. He discussed it during interviews, on his own podcast, even directly to the camera, long before federal prosecutors would point to those same practices as evidence of an alleged criminal enterprise. Big U described checking in as something he did himself, whenever he traveled. To him, it wasn't unusual, it was simply the rules of the street. And that's where this story becomes complicated. For years, an entire culture openly acknowledged this practice. Then, according to prosecutors, one man's version crossed the line into organized crime. When Big U left prison in 2004, he returned to Los Angeles with a new identity.
I basically took over the whole little drug trade on the yard because I had money. So I came in and I bought all the guards who was bringing in.
Not as a gang leader, as a community leader, he founded a non-profit, Developing Options. Its mission fit perfectly into Los Angeles' gang intervention strategy. Former gang members working to stop the next generation from following the same path. On paper, it looked like a success story. The organization claimed to help thousands of people. It promoted major reductions in neighborhood violence. It organized food drives, donated sports equipment, and placed Henley beside some of the biggest names in hip-hop. Over time, the city of Los Angeles awarded the organization more than $2 million. Federal prosecutors now allege that hundreds of thousands of those dollars were diverted directly to Henley himself. They also allege the non-profit became another tool used to support the very criminal enterprise it claimed to prevent. For years, the image never cracked. Henley coached youth football. His own son reached the NFL. National television introduced him as a businessman, a mentor, and a man who had turned his life around. But years later, federal investigators played back a very different recording, one where Henley allegedly described himself as someone still willing to use violence, regardless of the image the public believed. That contradiction is the entire story. Because according to prosecutors, everything that followed, the alleged extortion, the alleged murder, and the collapse of his empire was hidden beneath that carefully constructed reputation. To understand how that reputation was built, we have to go much further back. Back before the charity, back before the podcast, back before the music industry, back to where Eugene Henley's story really begins. Before there was a non-profit, before there was a record label, before there was any version of Big U, that the public was allowed to see, there was only a kid named Eugene, born into a neighborhood that was about to become one of the most infamous zip codes in America. Henley's family arrived in Los Angeles as part of something much bigger than their own story. Throughout the mid-20th century, hundreds of thousands of black families left the segregated South, searching for opportunity in cities across America. Historians call it the Great Migration. Henley's family followed that same path, leaving the South, moving through Chicago, before eventually settling in South Central Los Angeles. The timing couldn't have been more significant because South Central was about to change forever. Around 1969, a new street organization began forming, the Crips.
In the area where we grew up at, we grew up over there, was already seeing Crip and was already seeing Hoover in it, and it meant something different.
Within only a few years, that single organization fractured into dozens of neighborhood sets. Each controlled only a few blocks. Each developed its own identity, its own leadership, its own enemies. Henley's family settled inside territory that would eventually become home to one of the largest and most influential Crip neighborhoods in Los Angeles, the Rollin 60s Neighborhood Crips.
We got here, the homies wasn't here yet, and then Van Ness Park didn't have no structure, nothing. And I think Big Bunchy was from Fruitown Brim. So it was like Fruitown Brim was in Van Ness Park. The 60s was on the verge of being formed, like it was just West Side Crips. And then it was West Side Crips and it was Neighborhood Crips. And the Neighborhood Crips was like down the line on the other side, like on Van Ness, like more towards where eventually like the hood took over. It was Neighborhood Crips and West Side Crips.
Time Eugene became a teenager, that environment had already shaped his future. Court records describe a young man moving in and out of the juvenile justice system. By his 20s, those cases had escalated. He was coming up during one of the bloodiest periods in Los Angeles gang history. A violent conflict between the Rollin 60s and a rival Crip faction that stretched across years and claimed countless lives. According to court records, Henley developed a reputation as someone willing to do what others wouldn't. Someone, prosecutors say, rose quickly through the ranks. Then came 1991, the moment that changed everything. Federal agents, running an undercover operation, alleged that Henley attempted to rob what he believed was a large cocaine shipment. Instead, it was a federal sting. The arrest sent him to prison for more than a decade, and it's worth stopping here because understanding this prison sentence helps explain the federal case he now faces decades later. Today's indictment isn't built around just one allegation. Federal prosecutors charged Henley under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, better known as RICO. Originally written to dismantle mafia families, RICO works differently than most criminal cases. Instead of proving one isolated crime, prosecutors try to prove that an entire organization operated as a criminal enterprise, year after year. That's why Henley's indictment includes allegations ranging from murder, fraud, extortion, illegal gambling, and conspiracy. According to prosecutors, those weren't separate events. They were all part of the same enterprise. Henley's attorneys disagree. They've argued the government's case is enormous, containing more than 1 million pieces of evidence that must be reviewed before trial. But back in the early 1990s, none of that existed yet. Henley wasn't a public figure. He wasn't a mentor. He wasn't the face of a non-profit. He was simply a respected member of one of Los Angeles' most powerful gangs. And while he disappeared into the federal prison system, West Coast hip-hop was exploding by the time he came home. That music industry would become the perfect place to build an entirely new identity, one that prosecutors now say was never as different as it appeared. Henley walked out of prison in 2004, after 13 years inside, and somehow walked straight into the inner circle of the most feared label in hip-hop history. What happened next would build his legend inside the music industry. It would also, according to federal prosecutors, implant the seed of the murder case that's now put him away for good. Coming home in 2004, Henley found an unlikely mentor, Marion Knight, better known as the Death Row Records founder, a man infamous for using intimidation to get ahead in the music business. Knight is said to have helped Big U financially and brought him into his circle. The two quickly became one of the most feared pairings the industry had seen. Music business ambition combined with real street authority, a combination that opened doors most people couldn't get near. To understand what that mentorship really meant, you have to understand who Knight already was. Throughout the 1990s, Knight built Death Row Records into the most dominant label on the West Coast, and one of the most feared music companies in America. His reputation for using intimidation as a business tool had been reported for years. rumored confrontations, allegations of pressure, an industry-wide belief that crossing death row could come with consequences far beyond lawyers or contracts. But by 2004, that empire was already falling apart. Legal problems, along with internal violence and years of pressure, Death Row Records was no longer what it once was. Which makes Big U's relationship with Knight so important. Knight wasn't handing over an empire at its peak. He was passing along a philosophy, a way of operating. At the exact moment, his own version of it was collapsing. Big U absorbed that philosophy, then adapted it to fit his own world. A smaller scale, but the same formula. With real artists, real money, and real influence, backed by an unspoken understanding that his reach extended into the streets. It's the same formula. Federal prosecutors now allege became the foundation of a criminal enterprise, only spread across 2 decades instead of one record label. Around this same time, Big U founded his own label, and through family ties and neighborhood connections, he met a young Rollin 60s rapper named Nipsey Hussle. Big U's fingerprints are all over the earliest momentum of Nipsey Hussle's career. Through industry relationships, Hussle landed a guest appearance on Tupac posthumous 2006 album, a placement that gave an unknown local artist national attention almost overnight.
Him and Big Draws put that together, and LT Hutton. They really had a resume at that time to justify it, but he gave me a shot. And a lot of that was based on the relationship he had with Draws and Steve.
And I remember buying the physical CD, seeing Tupac featuring Nipsey Hussle on the back of it.
You also helped develop Hussle's early mixtape run, projects that helped lay foundation for everything that followed years before. Major labels came calling. For years, the two were closely connected. Business partners, mentor. Hussle even signed a 10-year production agreement under Big U's label.
So I signed him to it. It was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which would end 2019.
Crazy.
But eventually, the relationship began to fall apart. Exactly why depends on who you ask. Big U says everything changed after police discovered drugs inside a vehicle during one of their tours. He believed trust had broken down.
Radiator cap off, took the apart, stuck us in, I can't remember where we were for 3 days. They took the and scanned it from the router to the tutor, found what they wanted on it, put it back together, gave it to us. I flew back home. When I fly home, we get hit. I get hit at home. They had 21 people. They think they got him. Anyway, make a long story short, he ended up turning himself in, take the case off all of us. He get life, right, for the drugs. When that happened, my team is acting weird. So I'm looking at Steve, I'm looking at Nip, man, get a paperwork from Sony so they can see that we releasing all this. They acting weird. So, me, I'm still kind of like, hey, I'm hot, hot and heavy, but, I'm like, I can't with y'all. Right. So you never see me on the tour no more.
And that's when the problem?
No problem never happened. Okay. We didn't have a problem.
Okay.
Wasn't nobody making no money.
Right.
Others tell a different story. They claim Big U was using the tour to conduct unrelated business, and Hussle wanted distance before it damaged his own career.
I think Big U was using the tour bus, Nipsey's tour bus, to at least sometime or possibly do drug drop-offs, pick up money, and it was making Nipsey hot. He was seeing himself about to take off. He wanted no parts.
Whatever happened, the tension became public. Hussle released a song widely believed to criticize Big U, leaving a message that he no longer needed permission to run his own career.
That's when they got upset, and he made the song. I don't rap,
that song never came out.
It did come out.
It did come out?
It did come out.
Oh.
It wasn't never pushed as a song, but It came out, and I don't rap, I scrap.
According to multiple accounts, the dispute eventually became physical. Both camps confronted one another. Shots were reportedly fired into the air to break everything up. But the relationship didn't stay broken. By 2018, Big U and Nipsey were appearing together again. At community events, standing side by side.
Look who came through. Yeah, I got my all black on, man. All black everything. Steve Maniac Lobel, day one right here, Big U, what up, baby? Big U and Lobel. So you need that. Yeah, that's legendary. Woo! Remember that? He did what no other rappers do today. He sold his own music. He sold his own music.
So when I came along and Steve came along, we had a formula that merged with what he do, but he outworked any artist I've seen. I'm talking about business-wise. I'm not talking about on the mic. Because if you notice, this man is a more professional than 90% of the dudes who are trying to grow to his level. But I'm saying that to our young baby, to a T, he outworked a whole lot of people. And this is the reason why we are giving him the award, the Businessman Award, because he really exudes everything that you need to exercise in business. So let's give this man a hand and clap it up for him. I'm talking about, I came to his house and he lived in all places in A-Tray neighborhood and was really, he really had a mic in his closet and was recording his own self. Remember that.
See what that turned into, him putting pressure on us to just stay focused, you know, standing in front of us as young dudes from the area. And always, I remember he like, you know, it's not gonna be one room I walk into that my homeboys can't walk into with me. And I always respected and looked up to him as a leader and as somebody that was just a real man. And I love to see everybody out here tonight dressed up, looking good. You know, I think we gotta give him a round of applause as well. And like I said, I love you, bro. We're gonna keep pushing. Day one. Thank y'all.
And I'm eating breakfast.
My shirt drunk, yeah, all that. I've been working. I ain't saved everything, man. Victory lap coming soon.
He wasn't gonna save anyway.
I wasn't, but I was gonna change my shirt though. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? But I'm working.
We will let y'all hear some music, but you gotta wait to pay for it. Ain't no free no more.
It's coming.
And you ain't downloading it, we're gonna put a tag. If you steal the music,
we
coming to your house and putting that
car wash when you got your tent set up. We gonna beat you.
Then March 2019, another disagreement, this time over a music video shoot inside Rollin 60's territory. Accounts differ about exactly what happened. Some describe a serious confrontation. Others say it was a much smaller dispute.
To get into too much detail, but there was a lot of big politics getting into it with certain people. You know, Hussle had DJ Khaled in the hood. Not to be speaking too much on it, but we came frontline like we always do. And, you know, we're gonna know we're gonna crash out behind it. Back, we not playing, ain't nobody saying nothing to Khaled, ain't nobody doing nothing to Khaled, and he's straight. And Hussle frontline that. And, you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that.
Only days later, Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed outside his Marathon clothing store, less than 1 mile from Big U's childhood neighborhood. The man convicted of Nipsey's murder has never been connected to Big U in any official capacity. But the timing, the history, and Big U's own changing accounts of where he was that day have fueled speculation for years.
And for those who don't know, Big U is said to be responsible for the death of Nipsey Hussle. This is what a lot of people are saying. And it's because he keeps changing his story about the day that Nipsey Hussle died.
We actually was on 6th Ave with 100 cars. We got all the streets blocked. We waiting on UK to come out the house. Everybody phone blowing up. Nip got hit, Nip got hit. We flying up there. We fly up there and we see the scene.
And then like later on, he would forget he said that. And then he'd go on live on IG and say that he wasn't even in town the day that Nipsey died.
Y'all was accusing me of I ain't even do. And what's funny, I wasn't even in town. So figure that one out. But I ain't gonna dress it.
And Nipsey Hussle was signed to Big U's record label, and that contract was due to be up, and Nipsey Hussle wasn't going to re-sign, so that provided motive, okay?
I signed him to it. It was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which would end 2019.
Crazy.
Speculation Big U has repeatedly denied, and speculation that federal prosecutors have never charged. What makes the federal case so significant isn't about Nipsey's murder itself, it's about what prosecutors say came afterward. According to a superseding indictment filed in February 2026, investigators intercepted phone calls from December 2022 and January 2023. Prosecutors allege Big U can be heard invoking Nipsey's name, describing himself as bigger than Nipsey and making explicit threats toward anyone who crossed him. It's important to be precise. Federal prosecutors are not accusing Big U of involvement in Nipsey's murder. That case was prosecuted separately. Eric Holder was convicted and sentenced to 60 years to life. Instead, the government argues Big U continued using Nipsey's name, and memory is a tool of intimidation years after Nipsey's death.
Greetings to everybody. To get this message today, we are having a vigil for Nipsey Hussle at 3 to 5 today for all the different gangs in LA that want to come out and support. Over the last 2 days, we have been having meetings amongst us, A-Trays, Rolling 60s, Hoovers, East Coasters, Bounty Hunters, and everybody like mind to come together. We're going to ask that everybody come to Crenshaw and Slauson, be there by 3. We want everybody to park in the Ralph's parking lot. We're going to be escorting everybody from the Ralph's parking lot to the memorial. It's not open to the public. It's only for LA street gangs, Bloods, Crips with the like mind and want to support and pay homage to one of our lost soldiers, one of our good brothers and teachers and leaders. So it's open from 3 to 5.
Whatever the true nature of their relationship was, it existed inside something larger.
Songs, every album he put out, since we had the so-called altercation, he shouted me out.
However, in 2024, Nipsey's brother Black Sam would do a podcast with Big Boy, alluding to someone being sent to kill Nipsey, rather than this just being an isolated crash out.
It is random as what the public thought it was. Like, Nip seen somebody, Eric, and talked and...
I mean, you know, he already got convicted, so for me, without going into too many details, so for me, he felt he was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever. It just don't make no sense. It's not random, you know.
Blind can't lead the blind, bro.
Yes,
Somebody
sir.
gotta have a vision.
Yes, sir.
And you gotta follow who got the vision. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
if you
sir.
stuck on stupid, I ain't gonna judge you or have no disrespect for you, but I'm
gonna
definitely
be
not-
over here.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna follow you or take heed to your opinion. You're gonna have to follow what I'm doing.
I heard
and
that.
after a while, that way of thinking versus this way of thinking, more people lean toward this way because of the results.
A practice Big U didn't hide. He openly discussed it. He defended it. He even promoted it. Checking in. By this point, the checking in wasn't a rumor. Big U explained it himself. On camera, on interviews, on his own podcast.
Have to have an experience before they realize I should have checked in. You know what I mean? Or I should have called, or I should have been moving a certain way.
According to Big U, checking in was protection, a way for visiting artists and athletes and film crews to safely operate inside unfamiliar neighborhoods. Federal prosecutors describe something different. They allege checking in became a street tax, money collected through the implied threat of violence. According to the indictments, the pattern repeated itself again and again across music, sports, nightlife, and business. Federal prosecutors allege boxer and now streamer Adrian Broner became caught inside one of those disputes after NBA players believed they'd been cheated during a dice game they allegedly called Big U instead of security. According to prosecutors, the players paid roughly $100,000 to settle the conflict. Big U and members of his crew then allegedly confronted Broner for doing business without checking in. Nightclubs became another pattern. In one case, prosecutors allege Big U promised major artists for an event. The artist never appeared, yet prosecutors say Henley still demanded $30,000, threatening to bring thousands of Rollin 60s members to destroy the venue if he wasn't paid. According to Big U's own account, another nightclub dispute ended with him being beaten by security outside a Hollywood venue.
Hey, you, Mike. Hey, just stay down. Hold him. He's good. You, Mike. Hey, close the gate, Mike. Close it up. Hey, close it up. Get him inside.
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out right now. Go. Get him out.
Be cool. Just be cool.
I don't want him in this. I don't. Get out.
All right, cool. Get him out here. Back up. Come on. You, come on. You. Big you straight girl. Huh? No, he just swung at my guard. Leave him on the ground. No, he goes to jail. He goes to jail tonight. Come on. Nothing to see, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Move.
Hey guys, back up. Come on, what are you doing?
At the supper club up here. We was going in. It's only 30, 40 minutes left from the club. This dude high or something. Your homeboy high. Yeah, they won't let him in. I was like, I'm gonna stay out here with him. He just get off on the security guard for no apparent reason.
Get off meaning?
He just fired on the dude.
Oh. Get off, you go.
All the security together is me by myself.
Big you straight girl.
So I made the assessment. It's 15 of them. You fit to get your whooped. But how the rules go, I'm gonna get down where I'm mad at. I took flight. So when I'm on the ground, I'm wrestling with him. One dude came and kicked me. If you look at the film, he kicked me in the side of the face.
Back up. Come on. Hey, give me one fight diving over here. Back up, man.
So the blood, while I'm on my back, wrestling with the blood filtered in my eyes. I couldn't see.
Hey guys, back up. Come on, what are you doing?
I think I did pretty good, me versus 15. You know what I'm saying?
Are you trigger happy too? We not bothering you. You trigger happy? Hey, TMZ, put it on it. TMZ, hey, get the camera on Big U. Hey, listen, don't touch him. Police didn't do it. Club security did. Hey, T.I. Who did it? T.I. Police didn't do it. T.I. Who did it? Club security did. Who did that to you? What? Who did that to you? Please. Who did it? Who did you out? They you up. Yo, people, who just did it? Who just did it? Put it down. Put it down.
Hey, Scott, I got you. Look at Game sweating the security right now on the police.
I'm talking to you. 6-0 trip. I ain't never seen my like that. Who hit you though? Who hit you? Hey, what happened? No, I can calm the whole situation down. What happened? I can tell you.
Look, it's a whole Mexican standoff right now. We got a whole Mexican standoff with Game's crew and the police.
Watch your back.
Henley later claimed hundreds of gang members responded afterward. The club eventually paid a 6-figure settlement. Money Big U says helped fund community charity work.
And dudes from every set in LA really stood up and was offended by what they had seen. My homies is Bloods, that's Cuz, that's from every set was upset. They wrote me a check for over $200,000. We used about $70,000, $80,000 to do a food giveaway, toys. It was amazing.
The Supper Club's giving all these free toys and food. They're underprivileged, right? And so I start talking to Big U, the organizer of the event. How come the Supper Club was so keen to be involved?
Well, we've been messing with them since back in, the incident we had. They want to reach out and help the community. For me, being able to take something bad that happened for me and turn it into a positive, instead of continue to let it be a negative, that's what I'm all about.
It's an unusual cycle: violence, settlement, then charity. According to prosecutors, that contradiction wasn't accidental, it was the business model. Other stories came from outside the indictment. Gilly the Kid has publicly claimed he and his son were robbed on Big U's orders.
It's Gilly,
no?
No, Gilly got stripped down by the homies because of Big U.
Wait, Gilly?
Yeah, the homie Rose and them stripped.
We're talking about Gilly the Kid. We're talking about the guy with the podcast. We're talking about $1 million worth of game.
He got his son stripped down, and they stripped down Gilly.
What do you? For what? Like what? What do you mean? Gilly never got robbed though.
Yeah, him and his son got stripped. They stripped him in the 60s. Big U lined they up. They stripped him, took all their jury, and did it, came on the stage and said he did it, and get mad at me like I did it. I ain't did it. I ain't do it. I wasn't there.
No.
Fuck mad at me for?
Gilly official from Philly, man. Gilly not going like that.
Gilly had his hands up in the mother air with his 2 kids. A father that couldn't protect his 2 kids. That's what he is. I told that, look, bro, don't be popping at me, cause with another saying, nigga, that from Rollin 60 Crip for real. Everybody know that is. He telling you, Big, you lined your punk ass up. Now, if you got your ass robbed over there, you and your kids, he said Nipsey went over there and gave it $20,000 because he felt bad for him.
Meek Mill was reportedly confronted after an online dispute. Claims Meek Mill himself has denied.
I heard Wack on the interview talking about what I did to Meek Mills.
Wait, you did something to Meek Mill?
Oh, Lord.
It said y'all was trying to kidnap him. No, that's cap. There was a Big U portion of it.
Yeah. So basically, Meek Mills was talking real reckless on Twitter and stuff like that. So
talking reckless.
Doing
it now.
Yeah, so we caught him at the club where he was performing at. As soon as he walked in or whatever, all the security that was with him, they spent around and grabbed Cubs. Put on the phone with Ross.
Honey, all right, that's enough now. We're not going to tell all the details.
No, we got to hear this one.
I said, get on the phone with Ross.
This one will go high. What?
Get on the phone with Ross, Neighborhood Crips. So he got on the phone with Ross. I took on the phone with Ross.
Wait.
Because we needed that bag. Cubs was.
Oh, he owed y'all money?
No, he didn't owe no money. We took the money.
Oh, this was some extortion? Oh,
not extortion.
All right.
See, yeah, we don't want to.
See, I'm going to have to probably bail him out after this
we
interview.
don't want to.
No. We would just say Meek Mill stench on him. It's fine. Meek ain't going to tell.
Look, we don't want to get the extortion part. It was just a business transaction.
How much I charge him?
50. That's it.
50,000?
Yeah.
I hear Rose. Hey, look, I got this. You got this artist you pumping. You don't want this to get out. We need 50. He brought 52, Crenshaw, and 48. He brought that money. He brought it fast. And when he brought it, I hit Big Useless and said we on our way. Gave Meek Mills his stuff back and left.
Individually, none of these stories dominated headlines. Together, prosecutors say they reveal a consistent pattern, one that stretched across music, sports, nightlife, and business. The indictment also describes protection payments from unlicensed dispensaries, some allegedly paying as much as $25,000 every month. When one business stopped paying, prosecutors allege armed men robbed it. Big U then allegedly returned a portion of the stolen property, provided the owner agreed to continue paying.
So basically, it's like, cause he'll be like he'll manipulate things. Like we'll go and do something, and the same we do it to show up to the house like 10 minutes later when we trying to counting everything, right? And we be like, how the f- they get the we're gonna just give them like $40,000 back and stuff like that. But cause it's actually putting us in paperwork, right? We get like 20 guns, and when he got 20 guns, he's selling them to the homies. But I'm like, why are you writing down the serial numbers? So it's like he was doing like that, and I didn't catch on. So it was like I'm waking up now. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm his right hand man. You get what I'm saying? So when it came down to like dirt and stuff like that, I'm gonna get it. You get what I'm saying?
According to prosecutors, that wasn't random violence. It was dependency, fear, control, a business model built on reputation. And this is the pattern the RICO case is actually built on. Not one robbery, not one threat, not one victim, but an alleged system that prosecutors say operated quietly for years, hidden beneath the public image of developing options, a non-profit created to reduce violence. According to the government, it was only used as a cover while violent crimes continued behind the scenes. Prosecutors didn't need to guess what Big U believed about himself. Across a decade of interviews, podcasts, and recorded calls, he told them directly, years before any of it became evidence. In one interview, years before his arrest, Big U basically predicted his own future. He said it like a warning to other people.
The unique thing is, because of the way we are right now, we'll never have these stories. Because the camera ain't gonna let it, the one on the street corner. The phone ain't gonna let it, the one that's telling everything. And it's just these stories will become what the mafia stories were.
Prosecutors would eventually use exactly that kind of data, cell tower pings, time-stamped gaps, to build the case against him. Then there's what he said about checking in, publicly, repeatedly, as a matter of pride. That he does it everywhere he goes. That it isn't extortion, it's respect.
When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. When I go places, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry, who real killers, like who really real killers. Like if he ever find out who did that, he gonna knock everybody down. You understand what I'm saying? You just caught slipping. You know, that's how it is. You know what I mean? And you try your best not to be slipping. And if you have the means not to, why do it? You know what I mean? And it's just about, sometimes it's about respecting, you know, yourself and then trying to get home. So, I mean, you know, I hear a lot of back and forth on that, but I mean, I don't know that it's a perfect answer other than me, myself, I check in.
Prosecutors would use that same explanation almost word for word as the definition of a federal crime. And then there's the wiretap, not a public interview this time. A private call, recorded without his knowledge, where Big U can allegedly be heard saying he's the only gangster left from his generation still willing to have someone killed. 3 different moments, 3 different audiences, a warning, a justification, and a confession, and in every one of them, Big U is describing the same man. He just didn't know yet that the last version was being recorded for a jury instead of a camera. A body found in the Nevada desert, half a mile from the largest landfill on Earth. No name yet, no suspect yet, just gunshot wounds, and a location so remote that whoever left it there believed no one would ever look. They were wrong, and the trail back to Big U starts with a phone that went dark for exactly 1 hour. On the morning of January 26, 2021, a member of the public called it in. A body off a barren stretch of highway outside Las Vegas, multiple gunshot wounds. 1 to the head. Investigators would later describe it as execution style. It took them a while to know who they were looking at. When they did, the case got a lot more complicated. His name was Ray Shawn Williams, a talented football player once courted by UCLA, sidelined by injury before he ever got there. And before any of that, a kid who'd lived for a time inside Big U's own house. Big U had coached him, mentored him, funded his shot at a second career, this time in music under the name Young Judah. So why would the man who raised him also be the prime suspect in his murder? Investigators built their case almost entirely from what a phone can prove. Here's what it shows. January 20th, Williams records a song. Prosecutors believe it's aimed at Big U, a veiled threat about disrespect, about somebody getting hurt over money. Big U hears it. The next day, he and an associate make the drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas unannounced. They show up at Williams's Airbnb at 2 in the morning. 3 days pass. Then, on the night of January 24th, Big U and Williams are together again, back at the recording studio. Whatever happens between them that night, prosecutors don't know exactly, but they know what happens after. Just after midnight, the 2 men leave together in Big U's car, and then his phone goes dark. For the next hour, there's nothing. No location pings, no calls, no trace. Investigators believe that's the window. They stop at Williams's Airbnb 10 minutes to gather his things, then a drive out along Interstate 15, the same stretch where his body would be found. When Big U's phone comes back online, he's already driving back into the city. Within the hour, he's at the studio again, telling people there he'd been at the gym. There's a strange irony here worth sitting with. Years earlier, Big U had said on camera that phone data made it nearly impossible to get away with anything anymore. Investigators would later use exactly that kind of data to build the case against him. Cell tower pings, time-stamped gaps, even test drives along the same route to confirm the physical timeline matched. They also found something else. Big U's DNA, investigators allege, underneath Williams' fingernails. Consistent, prosecutors say, with a struggle. Williams' mother has since described a relationship she believed was close enough that Big U used to check in with her regularly, even after her son moved out. She says those calls stopped without warning. When she finally asked Big U directly where her son was, he told her he hadn't seen him at all. Here's where the story gets genuinely hard to sit with. Days after the murder, Big U asked studio staff to wipe the surveillance footage, and then within weeks, while a body was still unidentified in a Nevada morgue, he was posing for photos, celebrating a billboard on Sunset Boulevard, promoting a documentary about his own life. Hip Hop Uncovered premiered on FX weeks after the murder. In it, one artist artist calls Big U the godfather of the culture.
If I was to describe Big U's role in rap, he would definitely be the godfather. Can't do nothing without consulting him. He's the only guy who does move how he moves.
He was involved with Nipsey. He had a relationship with Death Row.
People from certain neighborhoods' names would ring bells, and his name was ringing a lot of bells.
Nobody moves in West Coast rap without going through him first. Critics were split. Some called it a rare, honest look at hip-hop's relationship to gang culture. Others called it exactly what Big U himself was accused of doing his whole career, dressing up violence as legacy. Nobody watching it knew what was underneath the timeline. At almost the exact moment Big U was being introduced to a national audience as a reformed elder statesman, he was, according to prosecutors, actively working to erase the evidence of what had happened in that studio weeks before. For over 2 years, that's exactly how it stayed. A case waiting on DNA results. A man building his legend in public while the evidence that would end it all sat quietly in a lab. But evidence isn't the only thing that brings a man down. Sometimes it's the people closest to him, the ones who know exactly where the bodies are, deciding for their own reasons to start talking. For over 2 years, Big U's biggest liability wasn't a prosecutor, a detective, or a rival gang. It was a podcast studio in Los Angeles, and the people willing to sit inside it and talk. Here's the strange truth about this entire case. Years before the federal government moved, the outline of it was already public, piece by piece, on camera, by people who thought they were settling personal scores, not building a homicide timeline. The most consequential of them wasn't a stranger. It was someone who used to be one of Big U's closest allies in the streets.
Probably only one person out of everything you've been seeing going on that I wish it could have been different.
Right. It's all good.
Right?
It's all good. Yeah.
And that's Big U, because I can't mentally see him as my enemy.
Right.
I don't think really in his heart, he ain't gonna let nothing happen to me. It's too deep. That's like, I couldn't face his wife or his children.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing I was played a part in anything that had anything, that's just not happening.
That's a lot of said on the internet, but I'm gonna tell y'all this, I'm gonna address this, and I'm gonna address this fast and quick. I heard about the little CJ Mack and Dub C interview with that guy. I don't accept no apology from no disrespect my name, disrespect my family, and call me on my name. I ain't cool with nothing. I ain't cool with that CJ Mack. I ain't cool with that Dub C. I ain't cool with none of that, man. And that's all I got to say on that.
Wack 100 and Big U had occupied similar territory for years, one blood affiliated, one Crip affiliated, both wielding more influence over the music industry than either side of that divide usually gets. For a long time they were close, publicly cordial, vouching for each other. So what turns two men like that into enemies? According to Wack, it was money. Specifically, an alleged attempt by Big U to have Wack's own artist contracts signed over. Big U has denied the entire exchange ever happened. Whatever the truth, the fallout was real and it simmered for years, until July 2022, backstage at a Los Angeles concert, when it stopped being words. According to multiple accounts, a group of Rollin 60s members, including Big U's own nephew, confronted Wack in a parking structure after the show. Clips circulated for weeks of Wack appearing to flee through the crowd.
A scuffle was taking place to the side of the stage where Wack and Kanye just emerged from, with some claiming that this was actually Wack being attacked by a group of Rollin 60s, including Big U's nephew Tiny Draws. Once Kanye took to the stage, Wack would find refuge on that stage, standing in front of the crowd, where it wouldn't really be possible to continue the attack. Standing here, Wack would shake his head and whisper to another man on stage and gesture a finger to his head, seemingly indicating that there was some brain-dead activity going on. Wack, visibly sweating, seemed to gesture to someone next to him that he would be moving through the front of the stage when the performance ended. Wack would continue politicking to the person next to him and pointing around as if looking for the most effective exit route. He would scratch his chin and continue to look behind him where the issue seemed to have started. As Ye looked ready to leave the stage, Wack turned to clear his path, but in what seemed like an excruciating moment, the Game would then begin to give a heartfelt speech to Ye, stopping him in his tracks. Game would then perform his classic song Dreams that was produced by Kanye, while Wack Wack would whisper something to Ye himself. All the while, Wack would continue to look at what was going on behind him. A drummer then seemed to give him advice on the best way to get out of there, while Wack continued to look over his shoulder. Then, Lil Wayne would take the stage as Wack remained to the side, seemingly leaning back to say something to somebody. Wack remained at the side, tucked away with Ye during Wayne's performance, looking back a lot, and eventually getting into a conversation with somebody up close. At one point, even Ye would start looking concerned, and it seemed to be at this point when they agreed to leave through the front of the stage, right through the crowd. At which point, Wack took Ye by the arm and led him behind the speaker, tucked away so nobody could see where they were going. Ready to step into the crowd, notably flanked by two members of his entourage, Wack would jump off the pretty high stage to get into the crowd floor and exit through this crowded area. Interestingly, someone wearing a blue cap would moments later step by and peer around the speaker to see if Wack was there, but they were already gone. And seemingly after Wack had cleared the stage, during Big U's Artist Corrupts performance, Tiny Draws and other Rollin 60s would get onto the stage themselves, performing a victory Crip walk. It seemed that Wack wasn't able to completely shake loose, however, as he would apparently be caught up within the parking lot by a group of Rollin 60s members who would seemingly film as Wack stepped out of his car with his family inside. This was posted by somebody who was there online with an incredibly self-incriminating caption saying Wack 100 is a mark, begging to lift that thing up, talking about my wife and kids are here, better act like it, Buster.
Wack 100 got we not put on him. And talk this about this his town.
I'm just saying, cuz you talked about every set.
Hold on.
Every guy.
Hold on, y'all hear they verse.
Talked about every gang, every set. Got there, got shocked out, ran to the front and jumped off game stage. Slid out that ball. I officially a buster.
What's your version of it?
My version is, man, Tiny Draws put them bombs on that.
Hold on, we ain't doing no names now. We ain't doing no names.
He put them bombs, he got his mother head knuckled up.
Hey.
Y'all hear that?
I bet, hey, listen, he gonna remember the Novo. He don't remember nothing else in his life.
Hear that? He gonna remember what?
That's all he gonna remember the Novo.
And remember who?
He gonna remember. Oh, he gonna remember not to be saying names that he know he ain't supposed to.
6-0. You don't talk about us.
Wack's version is different. He claimed he had his own people positioned the entire time, armed, and the confrontation ended only because of that.
Knock it off, bro. Knock it off. Knock it off. Weird, bro. I don't mind you telling the truth, but stop lying. Cut the lies out. 20 that ain't nothing. Knock it off. Stop lying.
You might not want to admit this, you had your blower.
Okay.
You're begging him not to kill him.
Now stop right there.
Right?
Like Clubhouse.
If I got my blower and you 20 deep with hoodies and I'm by myself, right? No begging to plead, that's when you really do it, right? What do you think my mentality was? For a dude not to approach me and you come to get me, and I jump out my car, talking, what kind of conversation you think I'm having to make a dude say, don't nobody move?
I agree with you.
Now,
I feel like
Blick talk.
I feel
Third
like
y'all out there?
You probably
Call
was
third
that
now. Now I'm about to expose something nobody ever knew.
Okay.
So here it goes, right?
Ground zero.
I'm here. All of this is a parking lot, right? I'm here. They walk down. They walk right past my car. They didn't even see me. When I seen them get here, I jumped out. Y'all looking for me? Right? They stopped. They back was to me. Y'all, I had everything I had, I could have dealt with everything in front of me. Now, what they didn't know is I'm talking to my team. Big U-Nim is here. Now watch this. Look, watch this. Big U-Nim is here. I'm here out the car. Third, who was here, here, and here?
Taking notes?
Hold on. Third, who in that parking lot when I'm confronting these 20 Crips was 20 to 30 feet in every direction and they didn't know it? All my homies was behind them.
That's new information.
Listen.
That's new information, man.
So listen, check this out. So when I'm letting you know, there's no need to beg nothing. What did I tell that fool?
Let's do it.
My home, they still don't know to this day that all my homies was positioned 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
They didn't even see him.
Talking about two total incidents. He ain't talking about the right Whatever happened in that garage, I don't know. Bro, that time when he went in the garage, it's like about 10 minutes prior to Cuz jumping on stage. That's the crazy part.
That car said he was taking Kanye to the car, but ran to the car his damn self.
Man, no, that wasn't. That just walked from taking Kanye to the stage, and he was walking on stage, and he was walking up the stairs. Corrupt was going downstairs to go perform. We so happened to run across Cuz as he walking up. It's like how the stairs curve.
Yeah.
As soon as he walked up, the got dope fiend and then got hit again. And one of the little security that was with him pump fake like he had a blower and took off running. They ran all the way back to the stage, chased down the hallway. They ran through their little security. Security was trying to stop us from getting on stage. We both guarded them. Them was already hopping down on stage, going to their little exit, whatever their little plan was. Wherever they got out from down there on the bottom of that little stage area, is exactly what I ran to. Cuz when it got to his car. The show wasn't even over. DJ Quick didn't even perform yet. Gang didn't even perform yet. He left like an hour or two before the even over, and we stayed.
Yeah.
When he got to that parking garage, I can't tell you what happened. I wasn't there. But inside that, all that bullshit talking, it was 10 against 1, then 18 against 1, then 20 against 1. What incident is you talking about? Put that on Pyro.
Who is you though, bro?
This is Tiny Draws, Cash.
Well, what are we talking about?
We talk about what happened when you walked up them stairs. Put that on Pyro.
What happened?
You didn't get smacked in your head, and you didn't get socked in your face.
Touch me.
Bro, put that on Pyro.
Why is you nigga? You want me to
put that on Pyro?
Hey, you did you or no other
man, look, bro, put that on Pyro.
Then you or no touch
man,
me.
Look, I'm not, bro.
Your Uncle Bitch Roll got drew down on.
You put everything on Pyro. Put that on Pyro. When you came up them stairs, smack you in your head.
You
put that on Pyro.
My head. Where you
put that on Pyro. Put that on Pyro. You didn't run on that stage.
Sent the picture with my eye circle like it was my eye.
Bro,
so was it my head or my eye? I put that on your raggedy ass mama.
Put that on Pyro, bro. That's all you gotta do.
The Game had a concert. Yeah, I believe the big Pyro Wack got hit, man. Do y'all believe it or not? I've always said this. First of all, I do look at Wack as somebody with tremendous respect. I've watched him over the last couple of months, though. It's been interesting. I believe that Wack has completely isolated himself away from a lot of people that we would also consider either powerful or have some type of presence on, whether it's the West Coast or, within the game. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some people have said that Wack is taking a 6ix9ine approach on some. Only thing that's on the table to protect is the artist interest. And here's the thing. It don't seem like the Game got beef with some of these people that Wack got beef with. For example, the dude who's arguing with Wack is saying, yo, after we punched on you, we partied with the Game. They are involved with their own 60s. They seemingly feel away. I guess this Tiny Draws dude, because he said he put it on Neighborhood Crips. They feel a certain type of way about it.
2 more years of public shots back and forth. And then in 2024, something shifted. Wack stopped just insulting Big U. He started exposing him. Piece by piece, on live streams, Wack revealed details about the still unsolved Ray Shawn Williams case. Details that, by his own account, came directly from Williams' family. DNA evidence recovered, federal investigators closing in, and eventually, weeks in advance, an arrest was coming.
So I'm Ray Shawn Williams, a young artist with life, ambition, everything to that nature. He was found dead in the Apex Desert, which is a little northeast of Las Vegas. His body had a lot of gunshot wounds, one being in the head, and it was described as execution style. We know that he was last seen alive communicating with key figures such as Big U, and somewhere between these final texts and everything like that, this is where weird. We went over the physical evidence, such as the DNA under his nails, possible GSR, but you know, it never got tested, a missing phone. I mean, all of this raises so many questions. We even had suspects who emerged from this case, which whether they were friends, mentors, and even those within his own circle. But the real question still remains: who had the real motive? And, or even, to be honest with you, there's a lot of people in this case and a lot of key factors. The motive was there, but who was ballsy enough to do it? Who had the opportunity and who had the power to cover all of that up? Theories and our final suspect breakdowns look as, you know, did Big U play a role with this? And if he did, like, what happened in those final moments?
Been in and out, but I don't know what the you been doing in here. But my goddamn phone going crazy.
Really, by who?
Hit me. They didn't found all kind of on Ray Shawn. So what is this? Mother and the sister, they on my line right now.
Oh no.
They on my line heavy.
That is so crazy. Shout out to the media too. I wasn't even expecting to.
The mother told me, you ready for this?
What's T?
She used to be the team mom for the Crenshaw coach.
What year did your brother killed?
My brother was killed in 22.
So it took them 3 years to do DNA?
They said that Big U was running for a long time. Like, he didn't want to take the DNA test.
So,
yep, they
wait,
found his DNA test in my brother's nails.
Okay, so, ooh, that's bad work.
So that means my brother's fault. When I told you that Big U had popped up at my brother Airbnb.
In Vegas?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And the best friend was there, whatever, but the best friend said that he didn't want to talk to my brother in front of him, so he pulled my brother upstairs to the side. He said that he knew something was going on because when Big U left and my brother came, when Big U left the Airbnb and my brother came back downstairs, he said his whole energy was off.
Dad, did they find your brother? Next day or next couple days?
The next day.
When did the test come back? When did the DNA come back?
It came back 2 months ago.
And they still ain't arrested me?
Well, they told me between me and you, please, between me and you, don't tell nobody because they don't want nobody to know. They're going to be making an arrest the ending of March, the beginning of April. They basically going to put his case and Nipsey Hussle case together.
Sit with that for a second. A personal rivalry born out of a contract dispute ended up being one of the channels through which the public, and very possibly Big U himself, learned a federal case was closing in. Wack wasn't the first crack though. That came earlier, from a man who used to be inside Big U's own operation. They called him Loose Cannon, an alleged enforcer, someone who ran errands and collected debts for Big U directly. When that relationship fell apart, he did something almost nobody in that world does. He got in front of a camera and started talking. Some of it lined up disturbingly well with what would later appear in the federal indictment. Robbing a business, then quietly handing part of it back to keep the arrangement alive. Other claims, including one about a phone call from Big U moments before Nipsey Hussle's murder, were far harder to verify and drew a cease and desist from Big U's team almost immediately.
He FaceTimed me. So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey, and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone, and I was like, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that.
Did you tell him the call you just got, or you didn't even mention it?
I didn't mention it. And that's what fucked me up, because my cousin is Nipsey baby mama. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, I could have probably stopped it, or it had it.
Stop what? You mean that?
No, because listen, so after I talked to Nipsey and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that, I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey. And so I'm like,
wait. You get a call from Big U telling you Nipsey just got killed.
Yeah.
You panic, call Nip. Nip answered the phone.
Yep, and
you
we
like
were just talking on regular, so it's like at the end of the day, I didn't even think about it because
you don't even warn him that you got that call from dude.
No, because their relationship was so fucked up. It'd be like they be hot one minute, then they be cold the next minute, and then they be lukewarm. Like you
and
just
30 minutes after you get off the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yeah, I got it.
So
all
you
on
think he hit you a little too early?
So everybody knows I got a cease and desist about the loose cannon interview that I did with Wack 100, and a cease and desist showed up from the one and only. Never thought my life would go in this direction. Never thought I would be getting a legal notice from the big man himself.
Oh
big
yeah, I just seen
you.
Big U said he ain't feeling that
Big
shit.
Lucifer.
Big
Is that a diss? I think that's a whack term. I don't want to say that. So from our perspective, we have decided to back away from this. This is not a narrative that I was really interested in pushing in the first place. The idea that Big U had any sort of, criminal doings in his adult life, or that, that he was involved with anything with Nipsey. This is not something I ever really bought in on. It was kind of a surprise to me that it got trotted out on the podcast. I don't have to make this kind of statement about why we decided to remove it or whatever, but I did ultimately make the decision to take it down.
That cease and desist is its own kind of confirmation. You don't send a legal threat over nothing. Loose Cannon wasn't alone in the blast radius. Brick Baby, a Rollin 60s affiliated podcast host with a real following of his own, ended up named in a separate federal indictment for illegal firearm possession, tied directly to the broader conspiracy even without being charged inside it. And Brick Baby's name surfaces again in a story that ties everything in this act together. A story that starts, of all places, on Big U's own podcast. He called it Checking In, and on it he brought out Quando Rondo, a Savannah-based rapper who'd publicly sparred with Big U for years over this exact principle.
Like Quando Rondo, I just showed envy. Like, you can't call me now. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't with me before that. You know what I mean? You had my number, you could have called me, you could have did all that.
At one point, Quando had denied outright that he'd ever asked Big U for protection.
Once called nobody, no on planet Earth for no protection. Because I don't fear no man. Why would I wait to get in some Anybody that I ever called, I call on some like, how can I help? How can I do this? How can I do that? I never called no person on planet Earth for protection.
Yeah. So I'm addressing this little thing with young nephew with Quando. First of all, I never talked to Quando. It ain't nothing but love with Quando. Nephew reaching out to do something for the kids, definitely do that. Because I never talked to him. He just asked me if somebody reached out. I just feel like I know Cuz and I've been knowing him. And I never heard from him after we had a conversation maybe a year and a half ago. No, maybe 2 years ago. And then, so when he called me, I'm only on positive vibes. I'm gonna pull up on Cuz or he can pull up on me.
Within a month, the two had apparently squashed it. Quando sat across from Big U and they exchanged apologies on camera. Big U walked him through the whole system, who to trust, which clubs to avoid, how to survive as an outsider in Rollin 60s territory. Quando praised the concept right back, on record, hoping it would clear up what checking in actually meant.
Checking in with my young fella Quando. Yeah, man. What's up, young fella? Is you in California, huh?
You dig?
You see? You know what I'm saying?
The land.
Man, I'm glad to have you, man. As a man, my little homie called me, and he told me, Unc, you was wrong. But I'ma say I was wrong, too, because you said I was wrong. You know what I mean? And as a man, like I told them, I know when I'm gonna apologize, because I'm supposed to be a bigger person. You know what I mean? Every city I go to, I check in with somebody, bro. And that's what it's about, because people think that I'm a bully and I cancel money, I get money. I ain't never asked you for not one dime. Not one dime.
Big U would also explain the process of checking in with the Rollin 60s, explaining exactly what a rapper coming to LA should expect.
Because you might check in with me, I'm gonna tell you what clubs to go to and what clubs not to go to. I'm gonna tell you where the bad is, and I'm gonna tell you where the is. I'm gonna tell you who got the good, how to get the sack. You got dudes come out all the time, buy a sack, and get robbed. They ain't dealing with the right people.
Hopefully this interview open everybody's eyes on the check-in part. Like, that's not on nothing negative.
1 year later, Quando came back to Los Angeles. According to the federal indictment against Lil Durk, someone in LA gave up Quando's location to Durk's camp. The resulting ambush missed Quando entirely and killed his cousin instead. In the aftermath, speculation spread that the tip came from inside the very community Quando had just publicly reconciled with. Brick Baby's own comments about the incident only fueled it further, though he's never been charged in connection to it.
Oh yeah,
Sly Favon, right? Yeah.
They say you can't say that no more.
Why? Oh yeah, because of no. Like
They
who died?
say you can't say that no more.
Oh, because of FBG Cash? Or who?
Nah, because Lil Pop.
Oh.
You should have been doing the right thing from off the rip. That's what they say. The bed, you gonna lay in the bed that you made. You just signed the deal for like 20, 30 million, Dirk, right?
Yes.
Who the f wanna be for cuz for you? Too much money, man. You get what I'm saying? Like, listen, man.
Don't be for rich people.
Don't beef with rich people, man. Unless you gonna slide. And you don't need to say nothing out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, point blank period. Gonna put that bagger thing on your head.
Quando himself would eventually renounce his gang ties altogether, saying the community he'd claimed loyalty to had failed him when it mattered. A podcast built to prove that checking in kept people safe ended up sitting exactly 1 year upstream of a killing that proved the opposite. By March of 2025, none of these threads were separate anymore. The podcasts, the federal case file, the rivalries, the confessions, all of it was converging on the same moment, whether Big U saw it coming or not. March 17th, 2025, a 107-page federal complaint drops. 2 days later, hundreds of agents move at once, and the man the complaint names as the leader of it all is nowhere to be found. The operation had a name that wasn't subtle. Operation Drawdown, a direct reference to Big U's own alias Draws. 19 defendants named. Search warrants executed at 6 locations simultaneously. Multiple SWAT teams on standby. Within the first day, roughly 10 defendants were in custody. 4 more were already locked up on unrelated charges. Investigators confirmed they were still hunting several more names on the list, 2 of whom would end up classified as outright fugitives. Big U wasn't in either group.
Including multiple SWAT teams, executed multiple arrest warrants for many of the 19 defendants charged in this case. Search warrants were executed at 6 locations. Those searches continue to be underway. 4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody in the last 24 hours. And while we're still seeking the whereabouts of 5 individuals, 3 of whom we believe we will have in custody shortly, 2 defendants are considered fugitives.
Mr. Henley is a fugitive, and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement.
For 2 days, the most surveilled man in the entire case was simply gone. How does the supposed leader of a 19-person federal case disappear for 2 days? The answer, at least in part, traces straight back to Act 5. The same podcast that had been circling Big U for months had already tipped the public, and almost certainly tipped him, that something was coming.
Man, y'all gotta understand, man, people gonna talk. These lanes make money off of using Big U name. Right. One thing is for certain, right? Everything they say Big U did it, man. They got me doing so much. I don't even know what I don't even know what I'm talking about. Then I didn't do it.
You got you a whole bunch of different places at one time.
At one time. They say, y'all, you know what's another new one too? I got into it with Fats. Let me give y'all the information on it. I ain't never got into it with Fats. Fats is my little homeboy. Ever in my life, me and Fats ever got into it with nobody. Never. You really stupid, and you really the biggest selling name on the West Coast, you gotta say Big U name. You wanna sell something, Big U. They wanna do something, Big U. They wanna do Big U. Big U. Y'all don't get that yet?
By the time agents moved, he'd had a head start. He surfaced eventually, on his own terms, posting a series of videos before turning himself in, framing the entire case as unjust, tying it, in his own words, to his race and his community work.
This is my last video before I turn myself in. I'm with my family. Talk to my sons, I talk to everybody, man. I'm just saying, going to deal with this fight, see what it is. I just want y'all to know, all this stuff is quagmire.
need y'all prayers. I need y'all to... I don't even know what to say. I'm 21 years, I've elevated my family, come back, being right and do what I need to do until I can come back home. People are supposed to help me, I hope you help me. If you can't, you don't worry about it. A lot of stuff y'all hearing is straight trash. And I appreciate the love and I appreciate the people who've been helping me. I don't know. It's hard helping black people and not being hunted for doing it.
First Street, it might be to, I don't know if it's to the right or the left.
Reach out to anybody who can help me, y'all.
You hear me?
Help my own family. Appreciate y'all. I'm looking at this video as I come in to turn myself in, and I'm disheartened by the fact that they trying to say that I stole something from Developing Option, or I used Developing Option for some front. Developing Option paid my bills. They paid my house note. They paid the bills for my family, the money I made from as an employee for Developing Option. I never mixed that with nothing. I didn't manipulate nobody. I didn't steal nothing. We did PPP loans. We did 2 loans. And that's it, just like everybody else did. I didn't use no fraud. I didn't give none of no fake names. And one of them we was paying back and one they forgave. You know what I mean? And the other one we attempted for and they didn't give us nothing for it. I filed my taxes and them coming around telling me I was using Developing Option as a cover. Cover for what? None of that's gonna be true. The government putting this big picture, they gonna arrest 21 dudes. Some dudes I don't even talk to. I don't even know nothing about. It is what it is. Church, just pray for me. Just pray for me, pray for my family. And you look at what we did. You look at what I did. I've been home 21 years. It ain't over though. Then I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you gonna go arrest people that I don't even talk to? Everybody know I don't with Cannon. Everybody know I don't with Brick Baby. So if you want to arrest certain dudes, and put them next to me, them is the dudes you gonna have that call themselves turning against me. Well, ain't no turning against me. You might as well go get 600 and whack.
At his detention hearing, prosecutors argued 2 things: flight risk and danger to the public. A federal magistrate agreed with both. Bail denied, despite a courtroom full of supporters. He hasn't been out since. And the case didn't stop growing after that first complaint. In February 2026, prosecutors filed a superseding indictment, adding new alleged evidence, including intercepted 2022 and 2023 phone calls, where Big U can allegedly be heard invoking Nipsey Hussle's name again, calling himself bigger than him, threatening anyone who crossed him. 43 counts, over 1.1 million individual pieces of evidence, according to Big U's own defense team, wiretaps, undercover buys, financial records, surveillance footage. That number alone tells you something about how long this had been building. Investigators say the case had been active since February 2021, just days after Ray Shawn Williams was killed, which means nearly everything Big U did publicly for the next 4 years. The documentary, the podcast wars, the charity work, all of it happened while federal surveillance was already quietly running underneath him. A volume of evidence that size doesn't move quickly through a courtroom. The trial, originally set for May 2025, got pushed to May 2026. Then, in April 2026, defense attorneys asked for it to move again, this time to February 2027, arguing they couldn't provide adequate counsel without more time. Big U himself reportedly objected, wanting the case resolved fast. The judge sided with his own lawyers instead. In the meantime, headlines kept coming from inside pretrial detention. A formal complaint that jail staff had confiscated a medical breathing device. A brief flirtation with representing himself in a case involving over 1 million pieces of evidence. A decision legal experts called close to reckless, given the complexity. By early 2026, it looked for a moment like the worst of it was simply a matter of waiting. A long fight ahead, but a fight with a shape to it. A date on the calendar, a process underway. Then Halloween night happened, and nothing about waiting mattered anymore.
Big U's son, Baby Huey.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Shot and killed in Los Angeles.
I was the closest to him.
And I remember Corrupt was there, and I remember he was like, yo, Baby Huey. I remember him yelling that out.
Huey Popcorn, that was his rap.
Yeah. I can't imagine sitting in a jail cell wondering if I'm going to get life and then finding out my son got killed on the street.
You'll never see him again.
For 20 years, Big U built his entire reputation on being the man who could keep people safe. For a price, for a favor, for loyalty to the right set. On Halloween night 2025, that reputation meant nothing at all, because the violence that had surrounded his entire life finally reached the one place he could never protect it from. His own family, his own son. His name was Jabari. Friends called him Baby U, 34 years old. Big U's son, the older brother of Diane Henley, a linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers. On the night of October 31st, 2025, according to the LAPD, Jabari walked up to a vehicle outside a smoke shop in South LA. Someone inside opened fire. He was found on the sidewalk, multiple gunshot wounds, pronounced dead at the scene. The car was gone before anyone could stop it. As of this recording, no suspects named, no arrests made. Here's the detail that makes this almost impossible to sit with cleanly. Hours after learning his brother was dead, Diane Henley suited up and played that Sunday. Afterward, he told reporters he wanted one more chance to feel connected to him, that somehow he hoped his brother had heard him out there. From inside a federal detention facility, Big U petitioned the court for a temporary release. Not for the trial, not for evidence, but to bury his own son according to his faith. His attorneys argued there was no more fundamental duty a father owes a child. Federal prosecutors opposed it, and the way they opposed it is worth hearing in full, because it's not just a legal argument, it's the entire thesis of this case delivered in a single filing. They pointed directly back to Ray Shawn Williams, a young man Big U is accused of murder. A young man whose own grieving family had to crowdfund the cost of bringing his body home. A young man whose funeral Big U never attended, despite having known him his entire life. The message from prosecutors was unmistakable. The man now asking for compassion had shown none when he had the chance. The court ultimately denied Big U's request to physically attend. What he got instead was a video call with his son's body, and a live stream of the funeral service itself, supervised, mediated, and nothing more. As it stands, Big U's trial is set for February 2027, nearly 2 years after his arrest, 6 years after the murder that started all of it. If convicted on the top counts, legal experts say he's looking at the possibility of life in federal prison given the combination of murder and racketeering charges bundled into a single indictment. But here's what makes this case genuinely unusual, even by the standards of major RICO prosecutions. So much of it didn't come from wiretaps or informants working quietly behind the scenes, it came from podcasts, from rivals settling scores, from former allies protecting themselves, from people chasing clout, talking on camera about things that a generation ago would have stayed locked inside the community that knew them. Legal analysts have started pointing to cases like this one as a preview of where organized crime prosecutions are heading. Less dependent on someone flipping quietly for a deal, more dependent on people simply talking too much in public for an audience and without fully understanding what they were handing prosecutors until it was already too late to take back. For 20 years, Big U sold one idea to an entire community, that his name alone could keep people safe. On Halloween night 2025, we learned that promise had a limit, and his own son was on the wrong side of it. Prosecutors say the whole persona was a performance, built over a foundation of fear, extortion, and at least one killing. Whether a jury agrees won't be decided until 2027 at the earliest. But somewhere between those two versions of him, the protector and then the predator, his own son is dead, and the man who spent his entire life promising he could keep people safe from harm wasn't even allowed to walk into the room to say goodbye. Maybe that's the only verdict this story has delivered so far.
Fast forward 6 months. Big U gets arrested, this is hypothetically, for these acts.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, that interview becomes completely fair game and it's an important historical record, and like we all have to look at it and say, oh my God, loose cannon, I'm so sorry. We all misjudged you, you're a fucking genius, you were telling the truth the whole time.